You have a lot of pictures, like beautiful pictures with a lot of quotes. And I think this quote
Yeah.
by Tina Turner that you put, which is that I believe that if you'll just stand up and go, life will open for you.
Beautiful.
Was this your mantra like throughout the journey and throughout life that you live?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiser Together. This is your host, Parmeet Kumar, with your co host, Anas Pasha. Thank you, everyone, for joining. As always, please support us in any way you can. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. And we want to keep having these conversations and keep sharing them with you and amplify this energy. So keep supporting, keep watching, keep listening. And yeah, let's get started with this. So, Anas will introduce our guest for today.
Perfect, bro. I hope everyone is doing well. Today is a special episode. I'm joined by a lovely friend of mine, Ariana. Uh, our friends call her Ari. She belongs from Mexico, Mexico City. I've had the pleasure of meeting her when I did my semester exchange in Istanbul. After many nights out and many adventures, I'm just so happy that even after all these years, we're still able to maintain that connection. Not only maintain, but grow as well. She is a corazón de peo, which she'll explain what that means, but that essentially means that she has a lovely, lovely heart. She'll give the exact translation. But apart from that, she is a entrepreneur in international trade, and I will give the floor to her now to introduce herself as well and tell us what's up. Over to you, Ari.
Hi, hola. Well,
Hola.
I'm very happy to share this conversation with you. Thank you for having me. And as Pasha said, we go way back. Well, a couple of years, not that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
We met in Turkey, and it's like no time has passed. Like, I'm so grateful for your presence in my life. I'm so grateful to see you grow, like evolve, you know. And I'm
Thank
very
you.
happy to also speak with Parmeet. I feel this great energy for you. I want to see your story, like to know more a little bit about your story, and to share this moment and this energy. It's a gift. It's a gift. Honestly, I believe it's a gift. Um, and well, now I am currently in Mexico. I lived in Turkey for 5 years. That's where we had the pleasure to meet and
Yes.
share many great memories. And I remembered now when I was running for the International Students Association. You were there with Diego also and Patrick
Yes.
and Sama. We had like a very good community. Like
Of
it
course.
was
Amazing. I mean, because you're not the only Mexican I've had the pleasure to know. And I mean, I am such great friends with Diego and Patrick as well. And honestly, all three of you, first of all, I never thought that I would be friends with any Mexican. It's just something a Pakistani guy never thought of. And then not only to be friends, but just have you guys as friends like family. And especially your mom as well. Shout out to
yes.
her, Ara. I've had the pleasure of meeting her at your house, wearing the Mexican flag as well, getting introduced to the culture, your relationship with her. Everything was tremendous, and I hold everything dear to my heart.
And I hold that too, that to find this type of friendships, and when you say, "Oh, I never thought I was gonna have a Mexican friend," we're everywhere. Mexicans, we're all around.
That is true.
We're all around. We're all around, and as you say, my mom also loves you. You're welcome at any time, wherever she is. We are family. We are
Yes.
like family, and it doesn't matter any phase of our lives. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to speak so frequently, but the care is there. Like now that I see you, it's like no time has passed.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
It's
I
like
think that's
no
another
time has
level of
passed.
unlocking friendship when you know their parents and you're chill with their parents and you can hang out with them. That's another level of unlocking friendship. And most of like the close friends, you will know like you're close to their parents as well. You get along with them, and and it becomes like family. So that's beautiful. Anas does that a lot with he's meeting like his friends' parents all the time, and it's very wholesome to see that.
And
No, it's yeah,
sometimes the parents, I'm so sorry, Pasha, for
it's
interrupting you.
okay.
Sometimes the parents like feel more comfortable with them than with you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is true. It is like that.
Only when it's
It's just
Pasha.
yeah, it's just that like as I was saying, like like we are all extensions of each other, and that's why we're all together, and that's why like you're here with us as well, because in some sort of level we share that connection, those values. So I'm just happy that we have such an amazing circle, and I'm just happy right now that I'm able, like you and Parmeet were having a conversation before this we started, and like I said, I told Parmeet like you would click with her, and I told you as well that you would click with him, and you guys have so
Yes,
many things in common as well. So it's just, it makes me really happy that we're able to connect, and that's how I met you as well. Like I was introduced you by Diego. He told me that there is like a powerhouse of a girl in our university at Istanbul Aydin, and this is actually what I wanted to start with. Like, tell us, like, why Istanbul out of all places?
you know, I had the gift to go to Turkey as a tourist. Like I always felt connected to this side of the ocean, because of my blood.
Hmm.
Like, but I don't have Turkish blood, but I have interest in that side of the ocean, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to travel, like the as many beautiful adventures in my life happen unexpectedly. That's a
Hmm.
gift. I always see them like gift because they happen so unexpectedly, and it's like magic. I meant to go certain things, and they happen like magic. So I went there to Turkey as a tourist, and the moment I arrived there, I feel like such a connection. And I was like thinking, oh, I'm walking in Constantinople. Like I was
Wow.
remembering my teacher from high school,
Yes.
like my history teacher. I was like, okay, I'm in this beautiful sacred place,
Such a
and
magical city.
yes, and then the moment I took the ferry ride in, it's near the Spice Bazaar. It's
Yes.
Eminonu. In
And we
Eminonu,
know.
I saw this beautiful sunset, and I was like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna leave here, and I made it happen.
That's
And
beautiful. That does the city does that to you, and I can totally relate with the ferry ride. I'm sure people who have been to Istanbul, which was formerly known as Constantinople, as you said, is just the city makes you fall in love with it. But I actually want to understand, like, since you know that there's a huge language barrier, and the university that I also went to and shared with you, Istanbul Aydin University, there were a whole host of people from all around the world. Walk us through your journey as to how you were able to settle yourself, because definitely Mexico is a miles far away, and the culture
Hmm.
as well is quite different. It's sort of a like a secular country, but predominantly Islam is like the religion over there. So all of your years over there, walk us through how you were able to adjust, and not only like just study and do everything else, but you were able to make a life over there and thrive and a career. So walk us through your entire chapter of life at Constantinople.
yes, well, when I went, I decided to move. I was like, I didn't know many things. The language, no idea.
Hmm.
And of course, there were still challenges. I didn't know a single person when I arrived to Turkey. Never knew, I didn't knew anyone. Just like I was in touch with the people in admissions from the university, they guide you through a certain process. And thank you for all the beautiful angels I met. Mariana, Rahil, like Irem, Sabina, Melike, all of them were my angels when I arrived. Like they guide me, and
Yeah.
it was challenging. Like I was terrified. I was so terrified to do it. Like, okay, this is the time. I'm 25. I'm going back to university. I'm going to the other side of the world. I'm leaving everything I know for a new adventure, to find my place. And it was hard because I couldn't communicate as I wish, you know? And
Yeah.
understanding these people, like, I was like thinking maybe I'm gonna be judged because I'm different from them. I don't understand. but I I never had I did have some difficulties, but it was more positive experiences than negative experiences, you know? As like I'm a single female, I'm tattooed, I don't speak the language. Maybe I will say something that they will not understand me, you know? I had that like judgment in my head towards myself automatically
How,
That's
without
fair. Yeah.
yeah. How long did that last?
I think a year and a half. A year and a half. And
Wow,
when I
that's a
started
long time.
working, it came back.
And how
And
did you overcome that?
by realizing, you know what? Stay true to your essence. Stay true to your essence because it felt so beautiful when you see all these people fascinated by you, by your little expressions, your movement. Like
Hmm.
it's it's more like on the foundations that I started like making there because at this day I can tell you I have a beautiful community in Turkey. I have a beautiful community that I built, you know, even with my
Yeah.
fellow classmates, some
Absolutely.
of my fellow friends, you
I'm
know.
I'm also like some of your friends. I'm also friends with them as well, so I can totally
Yes,
relate with that. You have definitely this is what I'm saying. Like you were able to, despite that cultural difference, you were able to establish a home for yourself over there and do the things that you did. So no, it was a like I saw this everything that you're saying. I saw this, and this is what I'm actually interested in to understand. Like how were you able to, like Parmeet asked as well, like how were you able to overcome those things?
I'm sorry if I haven't given the clear answer. Maybe um, I guess it was just more like go forward, go
Go
with it,
forward.
Hmm.
go
Did you have
flow
a
with life.
practice to keep yourself like give yourself a reminder to have those realizations? I know you do meditate a lot, but that came after, right? You
That came
mentioned
after.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during that time, I was like, "Girl, you're already here. Like, there's no way, other way back. Like, you cannot just
No
go
plan
and
B.
take a plane." Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like Ari, make it happen, improvise. You know, that's something that
Yeah.
Mexicans do. That's
Yeah.
something
I
that
I
we're like in our
I
culture,
think
like go with the flow,
yeah,
improvise.
go with
Sorry, Pasha.
I was stalking you a little bit, and I think this quote that you put up in one of your pictures fits perfectly. You have a lot of pictures, like beautiful pictures with a lot of quotes, and I think this quote
Yeah.
by Tina Turner that you put, which is that I believe that if you'll just stand up and go, life will open for you.
Yes.
That's
So
simple and beautiful.
is this was this your mantra like throughout the journey and throughout life that you live?
No, it was another one, but it's connected now. It's
Yeah,
connected. Like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I read
Yeah.
this other quote, this Tina Turner quote, it was more like an
yeah,
honor to her, you know, to her legacy. But I remember that before moving to Turkey, I was taking an Uber ride back home. I just met some friends. I was on my way back. And as you can see, it's not difficult for me to speak, right? To feel comfortable, right?
yeah.
So I told the Uber driver, like, I'm moving to Turkey, but I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I don't know what to expect, you know? And he said, live without no expectations. Like, fear loves to steal dreams. So
Beautiful.
don't let fear steal your dreams.
Wow. That's profound. That's
So
profound.
I guess what helped me in Turkey, it's just between going with the flow and like I had a
Hmm.
dream to accomplish something. I had a dream to like shut up the mouths that always doubted me, you know, and
Doubted
also
you. Yeah.
my own fear of me.
Hmm. But that's amazing that you were able to recognize that voice and constantly keep fighting it again and again and again, and eventually you overcame that friction, and that's beautiful. Happy for you for being able to do that. But how
Yeah,
then eventually you said that that happened for like 1.5 or 2 years, and then you got settled in, and then COVID happened, right?
Yes, yes.
And then what happened after while COVID happened? Because you mentioned that. that was a very transformational journey for you as well, going through COVID.
Well, well, basically, I was gonna go for an exchange program,
Okay.
and
Where?
then to Poland
Okay.
because it was like the only one from my program that
All
it
right.
was my
So
last year.
this is the Erasmus that you wanted to do.
Yes, like
Okay.
Mariana, she was like pushing me, Ari, go forward.
Hmm.
Mariana is the coordinator of the Erasmus from Istanbul Aydin.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's such an inspiration, but she was like pushing me, Ari, go. This is your last chance, before you
Yeah.
graduate. Like, you
Yeah.
have to do it. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm finally sad in Turkey. I was kind of avoiding it, like, no, everything is well. And then life shakens up. I was like, okay, I guess I need to get out of Turkey. Uh, and I had the chance for the Erasmus. And then my Erasmus got changed because of COVID. I was at the airport
Hmm.
and it was
Oh,
Oh
no
canceled.
wow.
way.
So walk
It
So
us
you
was
through
turned
that. Like,
back.
canceled.
yeah, walk us through that. Like, what was going through your mind? What was happening at that time?
Is it okay if I say a word? I was like, what the is going on?
That
Yeah,
explains
that is
it.
the actual, yeah.
And I was like stuck in London, and I didn't went home for like 3 years during that time. So
Yeah.
imagine I'm like packed for 6 months, but I was like, okay, my Erasmus is canceled. I'm panicking, calling my family, like, I want to go home. And my Ara was like, no, but wait, what the university tells you, calm down. And I was like, you don't get the level of stress that I'm in right now, like, I'm broke. My scholarship didn't came through. I was like, I'm living through my credit card at that time. I was like,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
just want to go home. I just want to eat tacos. Like,
Had a
that's
breakdown
this.
basically.
Yes. And then I called a very dear friend of mine that is this beautiful Hindu couple that I met in Egypt.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I called them because I remember, oh, I'm in London. They live in London.
Hmm.
And they were my angels at that time. And they like basically pay my bus ride. I had a breakdown in the bus. I was like, seriously, this is happening?
Wow.
And I
So this
didn't
was
sleep for
March
like 2 days.
2020.
Yes.
That's when
And
COVID, basically, yeah. So
and
you
then
were
you
in
see the
London during the
news.
lockdown.
No, no. Here it's just like the beginning of
The
the.
beginning, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
And
by April or May it was like in full steam ahead. So
Yeah.
yes. But it was
Then you
like at
couldn't
that
travel.
time, at least in London, it started to like grow more. So like they were asking
Hmm.
me, okay, we love to have you here, but what do you want to do? And also part of me was like, I'm not gonna stay in London. What am I gonna do in London? Either go back to Mexico or Turkey.
yeah,
Hmm.
And then I was like, I'm gonna go back to my apartment, my roommate, everything. It's okay.
To Turkey.
And yes, I,
Hmm.
and then I find a flight. As you know, COVID hit impact us, in all of us in different ways. Some people were very tense. The fear came
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
there was a situation with my roommate at that time. I don't blame her now. I understand her. I love her a lot. I'm grateful for everything she did for me. But at that time, it was like, Ari, don't come back home. You were just in risk areas.
Hmm.
So
hmm,
I was like
It was, yeah.
very panicking. It was like, basically, I was like, no Erasmus, no home.
yeah.
A friend of mine, like, he was like my angel at the time. I called him at the airport in Turkey, like, I am broke. Like, help me. Like, I don't know what to do. And he said,
Hmm.
he sent me money. He found me a hotel. And he's like, just calm down. We will solve it. And then I turned off my phone the moment I arrived to a hotel. So imagine all the people worried about me, that because they knew like my close circle at the time, the events, like,
Yeah.
what's happening to Ari? Where are you? I shut off my phone and slept for like a day.
Wow.
And then
That's
my
crazy.
mom, Ara, was like, "What's wrong with you? I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're okay. Like, come home. Come home. I'm booking your flight right now. Like, come home." And I was like, okay. We book a flight from Paris to Mexico, but I needed one from Turkey to Paris. And then that's the day that they close the border in Paris.
Oh my God.
So like I arrived the moment before they closed the airport. It was like a zombie movie. Like I swear, everybody in panic. Me with my two bags. Like I hope I make my flight. I hope I make my flight. You know.
Because then, if you didn't, there's so much anxiety. What would you do if you don't make the flight? If there's a
Exactly.
lockdown everywhere, airports are closed.
Yes. I was like,
Man, that's
where I'm gonna stay?
crazy.
Like my sister lives in Germany. I was like, maybe I need to go to Germany, but how I make it? You know.
A lot of
Yeah,
uncertainty, a lot of
yeah.
uncertainty.
Yes. Yes, it
So you
was.
made it back to Mexico?
Yes, and the day I arrived to Mexico, the day that they shut down the country, like the day that they closed
So you
Wow,
were
everything.
like
it was
on the
like
edge the whole time.
it's like an action movie. Someone is
Yes,
chasing you and you're just escaping barely.
yes, and that's when I was like, why is this happening? Like, why this type of situations? I know that COVID was not for me, but like, you know, the world, and at least at that time, the different situation that I was having, I was like, something's gotta change. Like, I need to go inside and find what I can be responsible for, or like heal that, break that pattern,
Hmm.
and move forward. And it started working like that. Like I now it sounds so beautiful. It sounds so
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah.
but like it was intense work. And also when I moved back to Turkey, my other friend, like she's my family goes there. She
Goes
like lift
there.
me up. Goes and lift
Amazing.
me up.
Goes there is
Like she
amazing.
lift me up. Like she was like, and until this day, she's like my ride or die. She has not
Aw.
leaving me alone at any second. So that like kind of helped me, you know, like between being my own, not my own therapist, but like starting meditation, start listening to like podcasts that will help me grow, making the exercise, the breath work exercises also, you know, the shadow work. I was like,
So yeah, coming to that, I wanted to ask you. We just mentioned how you started meditating. It was after that breakdown, and you moved to Mexico, and things were uncertain. So you wanted to break that pattern. That's why you started meditating. I want to ask, like, what kind of practice do you do? Uh, how regularly, and why do you do it now? Like, what? How does it benefit you?
I started Kundalini Yoga. Like my teacher,
You do Kundalini?
I do Kundalini. You do Kundalini?
I've done Kundalini. It's pretty intense.
What is
Yes.
Kundalini?
It's
So
like the
there's this,
highest yoga, but if you can explain
yeah.
you.
No, no, you explain, please.
No,
This
but
is
then it's
amazing.
like I'm talking too much, but like
No,
No,
not
no,
at
no.
all.
Kundalini
No,
is
it's about you. It's about you.
This is about you and your story.
Kundalini it's like your private jet to prosperity. Like my teacher says that, and then when I had the pleasure of meeting her this year in person, like she was so right on this, you know, like it's your private jet. Like you choose the speed, how you want to evolve,
Yeah.
you know.
So Kundalini also has like different kinds. I'm not sure which one you do, but the one I had was we were standing and dancing and trying to activate those energy areas in your back, and you know what I mean.
Oh,
But
that's
there's
like
different
more
kind of,
the activation Kundalini. I guess like someone was
yes,
like
yes,
touching you and activated.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. More activation. Yeah, 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 yeah. So are you
So
like sitting down, and is it regular breath
no, what
breathing?
we do is that we start like Om Namo Gurudev Namo like 3 times,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
invoking like our teachers, and
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
we do Ad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siri Gurudev Name, also 3 times. That's a protection mantra because it shows you like you move so much energy. So it's like
Yeah,
you
you
want to
have to
protect
pay.
your
Yeah,
aura, the energy, your teachers, you know, and it's very important who teaches you
yeah,
because
for sure.
the teacher becomes the student, and then the student becomes the teacher. Like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
this,
that's how
it's
it works. Circle of life.
information that my teacher has brought into my life, and I start seeing now how it's how I'm able to share it with people. You know how I'm able to
Hmm.
share this. I try to do it like 3 times a week, but sometimes life
How
comes in
long
the
is a
way.
session?
Like 1 hour and a half,
That's
and
crazy. And are
every
you
month
doing it
she does
throughout
a
sitting
program.
down?
No, like you start sitting down, but then you start like doing the breath work, like breath of fire, the
Yeah.
ego eradicator. So it's like intense breath, and also like
Very
the movement of
interesting.
your hands, like your legs. And after that, after you clean the space to receive all this energy,
Hmm.
you place your intention,
That's amazing. That's
and
beautiful.
then you sit down.
I haven't dived deep into it like you have. I've done it. I've practiced it a few times, and I sort of have an idea of what it is. I was actually like before I got into it, a very good friend of ours who's been on this podcast as well, on episode 6, I think. Ashna, her name is. She meditates a lot, and she's on another level, right? I really look up to her in that regard. And she told me that I've done Kundalini as well. It's pretty intense. And if this is your first time, it's not the best place to start because, like you said, you move so much energy and stuff that maybe, maybe that might initially, if you're not able to handle that, if you don't have the capacity for that, things might go south for you. But I'm glad that it worked out for you, and people can obviously look up what Kundalini is, how
Yeah,
it works, and everything.
I have three questions now. I am so
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry
Anas.
yeah.
because for
Pasha.
us, yes, for us and the other viewers out there. First of all, what's the objective of doing Kundalini? Secondly, how is it different from, like, let's say, like normal yoga that I know, at least, like I haven't done any yoga, but what I see. And third, what did you meant by things going south? This is pretty intense.
Well, the purpose of Kundalini is to connect you with your higher power, like with your
Hmm.
higher self. Like,
Okay,
we have our version of us, and then we want to become better. We have all this energy within us, like all this power is within us, and also to connect us with our energy points,
I
you
get it.
know? Because the energy comes from below. Like it starts from your legs, and then it goes like
Mm-hmm.
from your root chakra, and it's like moving. That's why they make it like the snake.
Mm-hmm.
It goes
Hmm.
from that to connect you to your higher power. That's the expression I understand from it, like through my
Sure.
personal experience and from the people I know. And it activates energy points faster
The
than the
normal
other
yoga.
types of yoga. Yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And how
Yes.
and how or why would it like turn out to be south, like, or could be damaging to you, if that is the correct word, if not
You
done
want to
correctly?
answer that for me?
I haven't. Yeah, it's just something that I was shared by what Ashna shared that it might be too intense for someone who hasn't been exposed to meditation like this because there is this movement of energy within your body and you start becoming aware of it. Exactly what that looks like, it going south, I'm not too sure. I've experienced it. It was pretty good for myself, but I do have exposure to meditation and stuff, so not exactly sure. It's just intense, so I'm not sure how that might not work for you. But if you I always say, if you feel the calling and willingness towards it, if you feel connected towards it, and if you have that willingness inside you to try it, give it a try. No harm in giving it a try. So, but all of these like practices I've seen, like, I don't a lot of most of the people I meet who meditate, they're very much focused on one practice. Like yourself, you focus on Kundalini. I have people who focus on Vipassana, on breath work and stuff like that, which is amazing. I've tried out like a lot of them in different ways, and what I've realized is at the end of the day, they all are trying to achieve the same thing in different ways, which is again, self awareness and presence of mind, connecting with your higher self, listening to that inner voice. And yeah, no matter how you get there, it doesn't matter. Because one thing is for sure, that you can't have a single practice for everyone in this world, and that just wouldn't work, right? Everybody relates
Yes.
to different things and is moved by different things, hence there is different ways to awaken different kind of energies, but it all leads you to a single objective, which is presence of mind and self-awareness. So is that why you practice
Yes.
meditation or kundalini?
Yes. Yes.
That's
It's
amazing.
to like give myself that time to connect with my higher power, to connect with myself, to calm down my thoughts. Um,
And reach that
be,
voice.
yes, because I admit I had a fear of like missing out of things and people, and I was
Hmm.
like something that I healed was that fear of missing out, like being accepted. And I was like, the more I look for acceptance, or I'm looking it at the wrong places, and I didn't
Yeah.
saw the beautiful blessings sometimes in front of me. I don't know if this has happened to you guys,
What?
that you
That.
have beautiful blessings in front of you, but you don't see it because you're thinking of something
Oh
else.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Like we humans are, we take for things for granted. It's like we were talking about this just the other day, 2 days ago. Me and Anas, like we just have a tendency to think that grass is always greener on the other side. You always, like we mentioned as well, privilege is realized when it's lost, right? So you never appreciate the things you already have. You're always looking for the next thing, and it's just a mindset that it's a general, humans think like that, right? We, because you
Yeah.
have that thing, you lose the appreciation for it. There's a very nice quote in Urdu which always comes to my mind, which goes like "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar," which is like, I
Yeah.
don't even know how to translate it, but if you're having like, I don't, Anas, do you want to help me with translation?
I was also thinking about this. So, ghar ki murgi dal barabar actually would translate into house chicken and lentils equals. That is such a botched up
Equals,
thing,
like,
equals to lentils. But I would say
so
that, yeah, go
in
ahead.
Pakistan, like lentil is lentil soup and all. That's the most basic and staple food, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
And
okay, okay.
meat and having chicken could be considered
privilege sort of
luxury,
luxury. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the saying is like, if even if you make chicken at home, it's like a lentil soup. So like you take it for granted just because you're making at home, or you, because you have it. It's hard to
Sort of, yeah.
explain it
Yeah,
and
it's hard to
No,
translate
explain.
it.
no,
Yeah,
but I
Yeah.
get it, and I love the
yeah.
sound of it. You know, like I love the sound of Urdu.
Yeah.
Like it's such
No,
like
but
a
yeah.
My Urdu is
lively.
terrible.
No,
Anas
our
is
No,
good.
exactly.
no, no,
No.
no,
Both
no,
of our Urdu
no.
is terrible. But I just want to elaborate on the FOMO part. I believe it's such a huge part, unfortunate part of our culture, unfortunate part of our reality. FOMO meaning fear of missing out. I believe it is aggravated more now because of social media as well. Again,
Yeah.
like Pramit said that we were talking about the other day, and like you said as well, that sometimes we're just so blinded by the lights, blinded by so much that is happening and overstimulation, that we don't see the blessings that we have in front of you. And like you always say, the angels that we have in front of you. And I believe this is the mindfulness, like for you, Kundalini, for Parmeet, the different practices that he does, for me, self reflection and talking to myself every day. Taking the time out to do these things makes us realize, makes us have those conversations with ourselves, either in our mind or practically, and then we're able to identify the things which are important to us. Like it has happened to me a lot of times during my walks, when I'm reflecting on things, when I'm noting things down. I definitely have these understanding that, hey, whatever I have is enough. Whatever I have is the best that I can have in this scenario. So having that sense of realization, having that sense of awakening of the mind has really definitely helped me a lot as well in my journey as well, and helped me appreciate the friendships and the relationships that I have and the things that I do. And because of added benefit of understanding the philosophy of stoicism, I've been able to practice those things and be invested in those things much more better now. Like I always tell Permit that I tend to do things as if they were the last things that I'm going to do. Even this podcast, I feel like that might be the last conversation that I will have with you or that I will have with Parmeet. So my goal right now is to listen to you guys, is to understand you guys, and to appreciate you guys for every second that I have with you. So fear of missing out is something, it's just, I believe, a construct of the modern society. It's just to defeat it is quite hard, but I believe just taking time out for yourself, like the practices that you guys are doing, the practices that I do, will help a lot in relieving those anxiety, relieving those thoughts.
Yeah, because I don't know if this happens to you guys, but how you react to situations. Like you can be calm as a cucumber, but then like I realize that when I react, it's like fire. You know, like I have my
Yeah.
hammer, my Thor hammer, and my like Game of Thrones, my dragon here on the other side.
Yeah.
And it was like, why am I reacting this way? Like, why I'm acting like this, the words that I'm using, like why I'm overthinking the situations, why I'm like judging myself, why I'm also like, the more I wanted something before, the more I push it away because I didn't know how to express myself,
Yeah. I think you
you
said it
know?
perfectly, like breaking that pattern. That pattern has, because we've grown up in a certain way, there is a certain kind of pattern how we speak to ourselves, how we practice. There's a certain coping mechanisms in place, which are very much automatic. Those patterns have been formed, and you just keep walking on those patterns. And then meditation and self-awareness helps you break those patterns and not react to certain things and just see the bigger picture, because like you reacting to a certain thing, at the end of the day it harms you, right? The other person, you know how they say, like, anger is a poison we drink ourselves and expect the other person to die, right?
Hmm.
It's
Beautiful.
Yeah,
reaction is kind of like that, right? We react and we uh, feel a certain way expecting them to realize it or whatever, like, but the other person doesn't really care. And with FOMO as well, we were the episode that came out, episode 13, we talked about social exclusion. FOMO, basically, like when we see people doing stuff and we're not a part of it, it just automatically, the general automatic subconscious reaction is that
yeah,
you're socially excluded from that, right? And as we have talked about it in the episode that came out today, that social exclusion has the same chemical reaction in your body that you would have when you would go through a physical pain. So it can be compared to physical pain. So FOMO is definitely real. It's definitely real, and it's not
True.
just psychologically. It's like it's painful to say the least. So
Yeah, but why would be that is a question that when I used to feel that, and I'm sure everyone does as well. For me, it was the question. The subsequent question was always like, why am I even expecting to be a part of it? And
yeah,
yeah, that was the thing for me that did it. Like, why am I even expecting to be a part of it? What I have right now, the social circumstances that I built for myself right now are the things that I want. See, this is what
hmm,
I feel like. People are always running on someone else's schedule. That was me as
yeah,
well. I
yeah,
never had a schedule for myself as well. I never did things for myself. I was always down for things that other people wanted to do. As soon as I realized, as soon as I embarked on this mission of self discovery, self inquisition, I started asking these questions to myself, that why do you even have an expectation? Your expectation should be of yourself and the things that you want to do. If you do not come down to the expectations of yourself, then damn, you should have a FOMO for yourself, because now you're missing out on the things that you would like to do, not what
yeah,
everyone else wants to do. And to be very honest, sometimes we don't even want to do things that other people want to do. We're just doing it for the heck of it. We're just, like Parmi said, we want to be a
yeah.
part of it. So for me, it has always been like this. I always ask a question. If something happens, I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Okay, should I be feeling like this? And if not, then what is that thing that I
And
want to do? So
that's what it is. Like that's when you question it. That's when you start to break the pattern. So
yes, sir.
a
yeah,
question is expensive. So when you question yourself, you're expanding yourself, and when you make an
Wow.
affirmation, you're closing it. You know, I learned
exactly.
also this through this tool called Access Consciousness,
Okay.
that a
Hmm.
friend of mine actually is giving me like energetic therapies. Like we have
Okay.
32 points
In
in
our,
our,
yeah,
yeah, in
yeah,
our
yeah,
brain.
receptors,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
so it depends how it touches. Like, what do you want to work? Do
Yeah,
you want to work on
yeah.
money? You want to work on your relationships, on your self-love, you know? It showed me that. And then her name is Ari, also Arisai. And so I was like, okay, we know each other for like 5 years. So every time we call each other, it's like, Ari, oh yes, but Ari, go ahead. But Arisai was telling me that the question expands. You know, like the more you question yourself, the more that you question, like,
Yeah.
why this affected me, or why this person, when someone is upset with you, you can ask them what is bothering you,
Yes.
and then they start reflecting, you know. I wanted to ask you guys two things. One thing, one moment that you felt when you were like fear of missing out, and the other, it's like a pattern that you guys feel that that you have broken.
Hmm.
Sure. I would
I
let
need to
Parmeet go
think.
first.
No, I
Okay.
need
Do
to
you want
think.
me to? Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
can
go
go first.
for.
For me, to answer your first question, which is when I felt like I was missing out, that was definitely when I moved to Dubai. Moving to Dubai was pretty hard for me. This was because Turkey was different. Turkey was something in my mind always like temporary. I would come here. I had no idea that I was be able to make beautiful friends, to meet such a beautiful person like you. However, it was always something like I'm gonna go back to my comfort zone as well, because Turkey was definitely not at the beginning, like it was very challenging, but I was able to survive. Dubai was different since I wanted to make a different life over here. And then again, this FOMO part always hit, and social media aided that as well. A lot of people don't realize this, but when things are out of sight, out of mind, it helps you to cleanse, it helps you to detoxify as well.
Tunnel
Not saying
vision.
that these things are bad or anything. Of course, everyone is
Yeah.
Yeah,
able to
balance.
enjoy their life, yeah. But for me, my focus was different over here. So actually, both of your answers come from my life, and I came here in Dubai. So I definitely had that moment, and through again self inquiry, self, like asking questions about, just asking myself these questions, and then the answers just used to be there. So just and then writing them down, I was able to identify this FOMO period and was able to break the habit as well. The habit was me being undisciplined. Like you, after all of those events that you listed down, I also felt like my life was a huge mess. Although the borders weren't shutting down on me or things weren't happening to me, but I also felt the pain, the trauma, the anxiety that you felt as well. And that was the first time in my life that I felt, and I was like, no, enough is enough. And through daily habits, through daily work, I was able to break the habit of being undisciplined. I was able to turn my life around. I still struggle, I still fail every day, but I am doing way better than I used to be, way better than my previous version. So both questions have to do with my life when I moved to Dubai, and both are very very relevant and powerful questions. So thank you so much for asking.
No, thank you for sharing that with me. And you know, I see the evolution in you. I see how much you evolve moving to your
For sure.
Dubai, because he left his comfort zone, you
Yeah.
know? Like he left his comfort zone. We all know the beautiful person that Pasha is, the sensibility that he has, the way that he sees the world, that beautiful heart that he has, you know, that
Yeah.
loyalty to his friends. And I think that you also share that value. I don't know you in person, but I feel that from you.
No, no, of course.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Parmeet is like absolutely, like I said, extension and more. Not only that, I feel like I'm just gonna take 1 minute, but because he is more, and this is what I'm telling you, like all of these things, because he's a childhood friend, right? He's had such an influence on me over such a long period of time. And actually, I'll just give you a brief background. All of
No,
our
go
friends,
go ahead.
these guys, we belong to a group, right? And honestly, I everything that I've learned from these guys. Every guy brings some things to the table.
Value.
Everyone is magnanimous, everyone lives larger than life, even though they might not have or have a lot of things, but everyone is just so generous, everyone is just so kind, loyal, and motivated. So actually, whatever I brought to Turkey was an extension of all of these guys. And I've had the pleasure of working with Parmeet on other business things as well, and together we're running another project as well. So it's just an extension of this guy is what you saw in me as well.
Mashallah, mashallah for both of
Mashallah.
you.
Mashallah. No.
Mashallah.
Anas is very kind and vocal, and
No, of
I
course.
was, he never shies away from appreciating people, which is beautiful, Uh, and right back at you. Honestly, he's also a source of learning for me, and this is why, uh, we weren't even that close initially,
Hmm.
but we just saw something in each other, and then we started working together on something, and that's how we became really, really close. But
Yes, sir.
coming back to your question, I feel like me and Anas have had a similar journey. So when he was answering that question, that answered for me as well in a way. When I moved to Australia, so I used to live in Dubai before that, right? And
Okay.
I have my wonderful siblings. My brother and my sister-in-law live there, and my family friends. Anas, I have other friends. So life in Dubai is very, very, very lot of fun. Lot of fun. Very social. Very bougie. Uh, very, a lot of glimmer and
Exotic
stuff.
also. Exotic though, I
Exotic,
believe.
lot of glimmer, very shiny. So it was quite when I left it and came to Australia, I didn't know a single person in Australia except my dad's friends, but I obviously didn't hang out with them. So the first 1 2 months, I was
It's like, hey
absolutely
guys.
yeah. So the first 2 months, I was absolutely alone, and that's when I used to feel a bit of FOMO and stuff. But I knew the first month was hard, but then I knew that I really want to be in this place, and the pattern that I was able to break was kind of came from that as well. I've always been a mix of, as they say, a mix of five people you're around, you're a mix of
Yes.
that, right? And I was very much that, and that 5%, five people, uh they just are there because of the circumstances, right? You haven't consciously sat down and chosen the people you want to be around, right? Otherwise you can choose David Goggins or Moff or whatever, right? It's just how your circumstances are. You're a product of that, and I was that. And it was really hard for me to break from that pattern. So let's say they sleep at a certain time, they do certain things, they have a certain kind of lifestyle, right? So for me to be able to recognize what I wanted and see what I wanted to be, and then backtrack it and change the patterns and routine, starting with the biggest was starting with sleeping really early and waking up really early to serve uh, self care and self growth and stuff like that, and doing that while compromising on time with friends and stuff. And it's the hardest to do this
It
when
is.
people
Yes.
around you aren't doing this. When people around you aren't sleeping early, waking up early, doing those things, you're the odd one out. That's the hardest.
Yes,
When
sir.
That
people
you feel
around
the
you are doing it,
Martian, right? You feel like a
yeah,
Martian.
exactly. So that was it for me, and I'm glad I was able to do that, because that helped me not just break that pattern for myself, but I've seen that affect people around me as well, and help them do the same, because somebody has to take charge and do that. And it's at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of
Yes, sir.
yourself and people around you. So,
Yes.
but good question, very, very,
Very good
very good
question. Yeah.
question.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
out of random. Like I'm not afraid of these questions, Like
Uh,
um I feel that you guys also work on the relationship with yourself. Like how beautiful is that? And I saw in both of you the way that you spoke and how it lighted up yourself, like your face, because you have that essence. I can tell you, I was the party animal. Like I used to party a
Same, yeah.
lot. Now, if I'm not bed at 9 p.m., 9:30,
Yeah.
I am out
You feel
because
weird.
yes,
Yeah.
because
I was so happy
I
when you told me. I was so happy when you told me, like last time we were talking, and you told me that you're sleeping early, you're waking up, you're going to your language classes, then you're doing your meditation and other things. I was like, wow, that is amazing.
and I feel I reflect that. Like coming back home after all, like these experiences that I felt like, okay, I was over this, and you know what? I'm happy that I broke a pattern. Like, I respected myself. I put a boundary. You know, I realized I didn't have boundaries. The beautiful thing
Yeah,
about boundaries is to say no. It's
discipline.
okay to say no, and that's fine. And sometimes we're gonna be the good person for someone, the bad guy. But if you're not loyal to you, how you want to be someone else loyal to you?
Yeah, exactly. Like how you see yourself, other persons basically pick up on that. Others will only respect you as much as you respect yourself, and that is a fact. And that could be applied to other sort of things as well, as to like how much they value you, how much they care about your time, how much they respect you. So that they are merely a reflection of how you perceive yourself. So it all starts at home is the point. Like if you want others to respect you, then you got to start respecting yourself,
But
and
you are
eventually they'll
your
pick up
own
on that.
home. You are your own home. Because, like, the most important relationship is that the one that you're gonna have with you, and how you
With your,
take care
yeah,
of your
100%,
home. We have
your
different homes.
mind and
It's
your,
not our body only. Like, we are thinking, oh, my body, my brain,
no, no,
my
no, not
heart.
necessarily.
No, all of that is your home. Like, all of that, it comes to you, your essence. If you don't
Yeah,
move your body, you don't move the energy. And it gets stuck. So you don't move your emotions. Don't you guys feel younger now? Like, with all these beautiful change of habits, like
Of
nurturing
course, yeah.
habits.
I
Yeah.
do, but people, like people around you, oh man, you're sleeping early, waking up early, this, that,
Yeah.
how old are you? You're a 40-year-old already, and this and that changes your perception as well. Oh, you start, oh, am I actually like getting old? Like I think this, but I guess like it's all a part of life, and it's all about how you feel at heart. Do you feel young and loving and fresh,
Yeah.
and or you feel slow and lethargic and old
Exactly.
and
Actually, this
lazy?
is this is like Ari, like to be very honest, before this podcast, before even Parmeet introduced this idea to me, like I had like a very vague, like blurry idea of mindfulness and how we can overcome our mind. It was like a bro science sort of a thing. But when
Yeah,
Parmeet introduced me to this concept, like this, like because we kept hammering on this that whatever limitations that we have is because of the mind. Everything opened up, and
it's all in the mind. Yeah.
yeah, to be
That's
very
true.
honest, actually, this is the age to do it. This is the age to do it because we will never be this young, this energetic, this strong, with this much stamina, with our organs, with our knees, with our everything this perfect 15 years, 20 years from now, from our age, right, when we're like entering into our 50s or in our 50s, will reflect back and will marvel as to how we
Yeah,
did it, as to how
yeah.
much energy we had. This
Yeah.
guy ran a marathon, this guy did like a boxing match. So when we won't be people do it, but that's a rarity. If we look up the stats, I'm sure that's going to be like even less than 2% or 1%. So we'll marvel at these things that we had this energy and stamina that we'll wake up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. and we're doing this and we're doing other things as well. So this is the age to do it. And you know what? A lot of my friends say the same things as well. And like Parmeet said, it's just so hard because you're the odd one out and you're the only person doing it. But you know
Hmm.
what? At the same time, like Parmeet said, that someone has to take charge and someone has to inspire.
Yes.
And we talked about this in another podcast as well that you don't need to change your circle, but change them. And if you're able
Yeah.
to inspire them and that is going to help their lives, then that is phenomenal. And actually, this is the part of this podcast. So we're just teaming up with people like you, other friends as well,
Mm.
people that we
Creating a
don't know,
community.
a community that is just like-minded. And by the end of it, we won't be thinking, because we will have people who understand these things. We will have people who won't say that.
And it's
Okay,
already happening,
yeah,
like we're
exactly.
getting
Yeah.
more and more comfortable with it.
And it's such important to build a community because, yes, as you guys say, you feel lonely, you feel the Martian. Like, then this emotion of like
Yeah.
fear out, like, what am I doing again? What behavior am I triggering? What am I using wrong? Why I'm having issues like building strong relationships, Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing wrong? But it's just the beginning of the beautiful things. Whoever is going to love you is going to love you by who you are, of how you honor yourself. and how you make that change. At least you're taking that leap of faith,
Yes, ma'am.
that you want a difference, you know? You don't go from point A to C. I used to do that a lot. And sometimes I catch
Yeah,
myself doing this,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
But it's like, no, just go back to where it started by this, as Anna was saying, like the little steps that you take every day,
Hmm.
that blooms, you know, that makes a
for
difference. You're
sure.
going back at it.
Yeah.
You're choosing to become better.
Even if like the people who don't like or dislike or hate and stuff, like I feel like if when I personally feel some sort of wouldn't say hatred is a very strong word, but
Yeah.
something that you dislike and stuff, it isn't a problem in the thing or the person you dislike. That's a problem in you dislike them, so you're creating that energy within you. The other person doesn't matter, right? And how they are, why does it bother you how they are, right? They
Hmm.
are how they are. By creating that anger or hatred or negative feeling within yourself, you're creating tension within you instead of light and positive energy, right? So any disagreements or hatred that you have, and you're feeling that towards other person just to make yourself feel better, it's not actually making you feel better. It's just making you more tense and tense and tense, like rather than just having to take that harder step to question it and do more self uh, talk and self discovery to like find out why that's there and where it's coming from.
And you
So
know, people don't do it because they don't
yeah,
want to see
they
the awkward parts. They don't want to see the
yeah
ugly part. Like, let's say we have a closet, you know, like we have this huge closet and it's full of dirt, uh, dust, bad things, you know, like things that are rotten, poison, you know?
mm,
So that's why mindfulness, like going inside and do the inner work, you're like taking out that trash,
yeah,
all those like whatever your age, you know. In my
basically
case, I'm
Cleansing
31
yourself.
years
Yeah.
old. I am
yeah,
taking out all these things from me, and you know what? I honor what I couldn't do, and I wish I could have handled some situations differently. But
yeah,
maybe that the way I handled those things helped me the person I am today because it helped me.
exactly,
It
For
gave me the
sure.
consciousness that I needed, you know,
yeah.
to move
If you didn't
forward.
face those hard times, you wouldn't be here, right? That wouldn't
Yeah.
give you the
Yeah,
opportunity to self reflect and grow.
No,
So
definitely.
everything
Ali, I
happens for
have
a reason.
one last thing that I wanted to ask you because I see your Instagram posts and they're always with these amazing wise quotes. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
read one out to you, and maybe you can
go
let us know
ahead.
what you meant by it and explain that to us. So this one goes like this: that you're originally born from your imperfection, because perfection kills connection and trust because it doesn't exist. So I believe you're trying to say that there's no such thing as perfection. How would you describe this quote of yours?
Well, you know, one of my magic for me, it's quotes, like the quotes, the meaning of the words, you know, how one word has an impact. And I guess I chased perfection so many years, so many ways to be approved. I wanted approval. I wanted approval from my family. I wanted approval from the people around me. Like
mm,
I was raised in this
validation.
environment that my sister was always like the more responsible, the
Yeah,
favorite one from the cousins, you know, and there was always this comparison, like why you're not like Aisling, and it's like I'm me. I am
yeah,
Mary. You know, I'm this beautiful girl with this amazing curly hair, this corazón de pollo that I was saying, like this chicken
Corazón de
heart,
pollo.
like my own dimension, you know? And there was always like, I felt this pressure, this comparison around the people around me. I wanted the approval from my mother. I wanted the approval from my father. I wanted the approval from, you know, I wanted to fit in. And the more I wanted to fit in, the more I was like pushing myself away because I was not being loyal to me. I was not being
Beautiful.
loyal to Ari. So the moment I started, the moment it's reflecting, you can even see in my face.
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, no, no. It shows. It
It
shows.
shows, yeah.
Like before, I couldn't even go out of my house without eyelining my eyes, and Pasha knows this. And now I leave. I like playing with makeup. I have gotten better on this, but the more natural I feel, the more authentic I feel. Like irradiated. Like I feel this light, that I transmit this
Yeah,
light, that I transmit this energy, that I don't have to. I just have to be me. And you know
and that's
what?
contagious. It's
Yeah,
contagious. It can definitely be felt, like you just fully accepting yourself, and like we had another guest who Sadia was there, right? She was saying like
Yes.
self confidence comes from self acceptance, like
Hmm.
really being acceptful of who and what you are, regardless of what other people think, right? And that gives you confidence. Then you just have nothing, no friction to reconsider how you want to be or how you look or have that external validation. You are just who you are, and you carry on with that, and that energy is so infectious, and it shows. So
like
kudos to
thank you
you.
guys for you. Like I wanted to ask you also, what it's something that you feel about yourself, that you wanted to say to the world, but maybe in the environment, the cultural environment that you guys grew up in, or your circle, you were not able to say that, like when nowadays I want to hear from you that you say, I am powerful, I am magnetic, I am brave, because
Yeah,
you guys live in Pakistan to go to Abu Dhabi now, well, sorry, to Dubai, and then Australia, Turkey, to all these different places also. You have to like ground yourself and say, you know what, Hamid Pasha, what makes you like take that leap of faith? Like also a word that describes you. I want to know this.
Well,
I
that's
think
a
it's not one thing necessarily. It can be an accumulation of a lot of things. But one thing that really describes me is your question, right?
Yes,
Is
or
that
affirmation, like all the things that
no? So
makes you.
yeah, and this is something that's consciously created. That I always say this, that live to better yourself, and as long as I'm living to better myself, I'll be satisfied and I'll be at peace. The day I stop and fall victim to the comforts of the mind, I'll stop growing, and that will just not make me happy. Growth makes me happy, so live to better yourself in every regard, in small ways or big ways, whatever works for you. But every step matters, every step counts, and just live to better yourself. If you have one life. If you aren't living to better yourself, if you aren't living to improve this life in each and every regard, then it's a waste. It's a waste.
that's true.
But
From my end, actually, all my life I've been this Anas that you see, this Fasha that you see, he's quite different than what he is in person, like in my personal capacity. I feel like all my life um I have toned myself down. I am capable of so much more, and the person that you see, he is more than what you see. But unfortunately, due to circumstances and things, I have always like put myself down and put others forward. Again, because of Dubai, this was something I was unaware. I did not realize, and I used to do this subconsciously. I have now, like, since then, started fighting for myself, started at least try to, not fully, but at least I am trying to. And thanks to this podcast as well, thanks to Parmeet for giving me this opportunity as well, that I am now trying to showcase or trying to portray who I really am. This person that you feel is, he's not even like 20% of what he is, but but that's how, like, due to my circumstances, I've been sort of subliminally trained to. So if there is one thing that I want, like one word describes me, is that, or a phrase is that, I am capable of so much more. And I really hope that before I die, I'm able to project that to the entire world, because I believe I have so much to offer, and I believe I have so much to do, and so much to, like Parmeet says, like so much to serve. So this has been really the thing that, through this podcast and now that I'm trying to project, and I believe that's who I, at least I'm trying to be.
That's
Beautiful,
so
bro.
beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like
Yeah.
it's it's beautiful to have these conversations. I feel that they're like gifts, like little
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
for
cards,
sure.
saying.
Yeah.
right?
Everyone we have on, they're so excited to be here and have that conversation. It's just
Yes.
like, you know, there's just, at the end of the day, there's positive and negative, there's love and hate, right? And love is what truly helps you grow. Love is what expands your mindset. Love is what we like to share with other people. You can't, if you're living in hatred, you can't grow. You won't have that creativity, you won't have that growth mindset. Hate suppresses you, love helps you grow.
Mm.
So when you have those one-on-one conversations and there's just genuine love,
Yes,
and it's an emotion, so love, people think of love very differently. Like it's not that it's not that deep. It's an emotion that you can feel towards anything and everyone, uh, and
I
that
think
is
it was
what.
a beautiful conversation today. Beautiful.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this happens to us every time that we run out of time, and there's this. We have so
yes,
much to talk about, but
Yeah.
in the interest of time, we'll have to sort of cut it here.
right,
But
yes.
I just want to thank you so much from the both of us to take out this time and being so pure and genuine and sharing your journey with
Yes.
all the love and your beautiful smile. So we really
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
you being here. I really hope that everybody listening as well enjoys your presence and takes something away from it positively. Love, don't don't serve hate, otherwise that's what's going to consume you. So again, lastly, I just want to thank everyone for being a part of this as well. Please support us in any way you can, and yeah, we'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.
Ciao, guys. Thank you, Ari.
Bye, guys. Thank you, guys.